Hold on, let me fix this thing right here. That's the worst thing, to have a booger in your nose and you've been recording this whole time. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
What's up, you guys? This is Brittany. My name is Brittany, you already know. You can find me at sheabundantly.com. And today I am having such a candid conversation, a beautiful conversation with a beautiful friend that I have here. What's your name, girl?
Kiara. No.
Really?
I'm Kiara, guys.
Kiara, yes. Listen, I am in such an amazing space. This woman has exposed me to so much here just in Chicago alone. So I want to start this video off by saying this. When you find a good person, hold on to them. Really embrace good people with good hearts, because relationships are such one of the things that God uses to carry people to their next level or to the next, or their destiny. Yeah. So hold on to people, learn how to value people and value friendships. And this is what valuing friendships looks like, because tonight, whatever time you watch this, morning, noon, night, we're using our friendship to really pour out to you some of the things that we have learned. And we're going to be talking about healthy womanhood, okay? I know there's a lot of young women out here who didn't really have a healthy example of womanhood, yes. Okay? And let's keep it real. We've had some really poor examples, and we also have had some really great examples. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about both of those. So let this be a little bit of mentorship through the screens, you know what I'm saying, yes. On how to really walk into womanhood, because so many young women, I'm sure like you, is looking for help and looking for guidance. So you know what I guess how I want to start this conversation is just, would you say that you have really embraced womanhood? Because, you know, a lot of us, we grow up in our bodies, mm-hmm. but our mindset is kind of stifled, or a lot of times we feel very unequipped, ill-equipped, a lot of immaturity, a lot of emotional, spiritual, and sometimes even physical, yeah. You know, immaturity, yeah. In our upbringing. So would you say you have really reached womanhood, the state of being a woman?
You know what? I think that's such a good question, because I wouldn't say that I've reached like some sort of pinnacle. Like there's a level that, I mean, because for me, there's not a level that's defined as reaching like a pinnacle of womanhood. But I will say that I feel like I have blossomed into understanding the sort of woman that I desire to be. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that comes from just praying to God and just asking for direction and clarity. Like, God, what are my steps? Like, God, help me to separate my will from your will, and my desires from your desires. So I feel like because of that, along with having some good examples, the older I've gotten, like my mom specifically, it kind of has helped me to decide what type of woman I want to be. So now I'm just striving to get there. But I have a lot of role models that I look up to. But yeah, honestly, I don't think we'll ever stop becoming. I think we'll always be gradually working towards betterment. Because honestly, I feel like there's this one song I listened to by an artist. I think she's more like a soulful type artist. One of the things she says is, you don't get to die until you get it right. I envy the dead. Okay. And so in my mind, I always kind of take that as, even if you transition prior to someone's readiness for it, maybe you did it right. Maybe what you were brought here to accomplish. And so for me, I don't feel like we'll ever really reach that level until it's time for us to transition out, and then people can kind of look back, almost like a draw book, like a guidance book, like, oh, what did they do? How did they live? But we're gonna always be striving.
Listen, and that is so true. So I know I started this off of like just going right into womanhood, but what exactly is womanhood? I'm gonna just give a brief little definition that I believe it is based on just reading things and just the Holy Spirit. Let's go for it. You know, women are females, of course, and that is by nature. God gives us our God-given gender for a reason. Yeah. But I believe womanhood is when you mature to that level of mentality, emotionally, spiritually, to where you are no longer taking, but now you are giving. Now you are able to give something to a society, to a family, to a community, to build them up, to give them a healthy atmosphere, to raise them up, so they may be healthy themselves. So like that nurturing essence, kind of like the natural gift of motherhood, almost like that women tend to naturally have. Yeah. What do you think about that definition? Would you say?
I think it's beautiful. Honestly, it just kind of schooled me. I'm not gonna lie. Because I never really thought about it from that perspective. Like I completely agree with it. But I guess for me, I've always thought about womanhood more so from the sense of having like emotional intelligence versus having reacting to things emotionally.
That's exactly
ignorant.
Yep.
And also, you know, being financially responsible, especially like if you're single, you have to tend to yourself. You have to take care of yourself. So being financially responsible, mentally responsible, emotionally responsible. Like for me, financial stability is important to me. My mental stability is important to me. I just talked to my therapist Friday. We keeping it real.
Listen, I got one of them too.
We got therapists. Mental health is very important. Spiritual maturity.
Yes.
Continuing to nurture my relationship with God, because I always feel like for me, I would never be able to successfully submit to a man if I don't continue to always practice the habit of submitting to God first. So to me, that's what I have deemed womanhood to be. I wouldn't necessarily say I've been molded or modeled. I'm modeling what I consider to be womanhood after any specific woman. But I will say I've taken bits and pieces from women and then just kind of like what I've aspired to be, like I said, and I'm just kind of working toward heightening every single day. But I think that if you're aware and you're conscious of what it is that you desire to represent, how you want people to see you, not that you necessarily care about what people think, but that you are consciously working towards those things, not only for yourself, but because you want to be remembered in a certain light. Yes. You know what I mean? Like those things matter.
You want to be remembered for something good.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people just be out here. They're gonna be remembered, all right, but not necessarily.
And it might not be good. Exactly. Like I want people to be grateful to have known me, you know. So I think we all have our own definitions.
That ties into my. It is. Like it really is. You're basically talking about being a healthy self so that you can give out. Everything that you said was something to give out. Precisely. It's not just all about you. I didn't hear anything that just says, I just want to do this so I can have the greatest this or look the greatest that. I didn't hear anything.
My whole life is about my children. Me having financial stability is about my children. Me having mental stability is so that I can support my mate and my husband and my children. Me, you know, having a spiritual relationship with God is so that I can hand it down to my children. You know, those things matter to me. Me being able to have these sorts of experiences, living where I live, traveling to the places I've traveled to, is so that when I have children, every single essence and every pillar of my life right now is me working towards the type of woman I desire to be, so that when I have children, my husband will want his daughters to be their role model.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Of you.
So yeah, no, in a better version.
Yes.
But you know, they can only be great if I set the bar high. Then I want them to kind of tear above it. You know, so. My womanhood is definitely different for everybody, but I think that, you know, it's the collaboration of the thoughts amongst multiple different type of women. You could have your own avenue, I could have my own avenue, but even brainstorming with you and collaborating with you in conversation will help me be like, okay, that's another level I want to be able to reach or work towards. You know, it kind of gives you more to aspire to display, I guess, you know. So everything that I do now though is 100% for children that I don't even have yet.
Listen,
okay, I'm telling you.
And I'm glad you said that, because we are both young single women. We are young 30s.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Early 30s.
early 30s. I forget that I'm 31. I turned 30 last year, but the whole quarantine then took all my life. I feel like what happened to last year? But the fact that we're even having this conversation is to show you the beauty of womanhood. Because I believe our society nowadays, like, womanhood is being attacked. You have a lot of women who don't embrace who they are or don't want to be women. They want to be something else, or they want to, be men. Because there's a lot of women in our society, I guess because, I don't say I guess, but I know because there's a lot of men who hasn't really risen to their God-given authority in their position as fathers, as brothers, as mentors, as uncles. And so a lot of us, we have the weight being put on us, and it's caused us to be more masculine than I believe what we should be. And I hear a lot of women say, I'm the mother and the father of my children.
Yeah, and I think that phrase is just highly. I'm not a mother, so there's only so much I can say about that, but I don't aspire in any way to be able to say those types of things. It's not a position that I want to be the woman. I want to submit. I want my man to be the man. I want my man to raise the children, to raise the boys specifically. I can't teach a boy how to be a man. I can only teach a young woman how to be a young lady. So
you teach them how to treat a woman. There you go.
Exactly. And to your point about, women having to kind of do more and take on more, and men not rising to their levels, I think that women have to take responsibility for the fact that they are picking those men. It's like, sure, a man could totally not be